Hello everybody, Struggling to 1000 here, everybody for duty, welcoming you back to more Pokemon HeartGold. In the last episode, we managed to grab ourselves a couple of new members, being Pidgey and Centrent. I've leveled them up off camera to level 7, and just a heads up, Pidgey didn't really learn any new moves, but Centrent at level 7 wanted to learn Quick Attack. And of course, Hugo stayed the exact same level as he was in the very beginning. But anyway, this time we are going to be continuing off our journey by walking into a wall, apparently, because apparently we can't tell which way we're going forward. We're still not battled every single trainer in Route 30, and there is one new encounter we can actually grab in the next route coming up, so just a heads up on that. But yeah. I could have battled these trainers off screen, but I thought, no. I'll just mainly train them by battling wild Pokemon in Route 29. So we have a bug catcher over here, and you can obviously tell what bug catchers do. They love to use bug types. And bug types are not really known to be the most greatest of all defensive Pokemon. There is actually one really good defensive bug type Pokemon, but that's not till like way later on in the Gen series. Because this is basically a Gen 4 remake of an original Gen 2 game. So just a heads up on that. But yeah, nothing else important about that in all honesty. So this guy's got nothing but Caterpies at level 3. That's going to be easy to knock out, really. We'll just finish off the Caterpie, and then we should be on our way. There we go. So Pidgey's now level 8. Still doesn't want to learn a new move, that's perfectly fine. And we'll switch Fugo to be in the lead, because obviously he is our main member. Oh! So, our mum's calling us. Right, heard from Professor Elm that you went on a long trip. Yeah, there was an option that you could have actually talked to your mum, or just wait for her to call you. And in this remark, she will ask us, what do I want to do with the money? Do I want the mum to save it, or do I not want to save it? If you say save it, some of your Pokédollar winnings that you've gotten from trainers will be sent to your mum, and she will actually spend some stuff with your Pokédollar winnings, but she will ask a delivery man to go to a nearby Pokemart to deliver the items to you. Sometimes the items can be helpful, sometimes they cannot. We are going to say save some money, because that will be a good thing to do. And by the way, this is the world map for the Johto region. One thing I do particularly hate is the fact that every time we receive a phone call, it goes to the phone app and it always stays there. But something I should really show in this, if you hit this setting here, you can change your background of the Pokénav to either setting 1, setting 2, setting 3, which doesn't really look too great because it's Team Rocket, setting 4, which is like a dojo, I think, setting 5, which this one looks actually really cool, and setting 6, just kind of basic. I'm going to use number 5. And now we're in Route 31, and we actually have a new encounter that we can grab here, which I highly recommend you grab. Hopefully it shows up. Yep, there he is. Bellsprout is the only new encounter specifically to Route 31. There is not a lot of good things I can honestly say about this Pokemon in all honesty, because it hardly learns any good moves by leveling up, and it is even worse when it evolves. The most powerful stab move it learns by leveling up is Razor Leaf at level 39. which is a 55 base power under a high critical hit ratio. And speaking of critical hits, getting one when using a move is like hitting with double the damage, as for example, when an opponent has raised their defenses to withstand any attack, a critical hit will ignore any defense buff that the opposing Pokemon may have received. That's basically what it does, because a critical hit is basically a 50% boost in the Pokemon's attack. So, like I said, I can't say anything good about this Pokemon, but why do I recommend you catching one? Well, you will soon see very, very shortly. And what I would highly advise you to do is to level up Bellsprout as high as you possibly can. Not to like evolve it or anything. Just level it up as best as you can, because it will be helpful. Okay, got Caterpie over here, don't really care too much about that. I'm going to highlight Bellsprout as saying that I've actually talked about it now. Now, I honestly do wish I was actually a better editor when it comes to certain stuff like showing the bios efficiently like Sugar Conroy does, but unfortunately I'm not able to do stuff like that. We do actually have another area we can technically explore, which is the Dark Cave. And it does have 3 new encounters, but I'm only going to be talking about one of them specifically. The reason why is because when you go inside the Dark Cave, you can't even see where the hell you're going. So, 3 new encounters you can get in that route, in that area, but the only one I'm going to talk about is the rare Dunsparce. Dunsparce can only be encountered 1% of the time in that cave. We all know as we all wanted this Pokemon to be given an evolution as soon as we've used one, but unfortunately it's not an easy Pokemon to use. Being given the ability of Serene Grace will actually boost the likelihood of additional effects with moves that it can learn. Additional moves to happen 10% of the time. That's actually not really the case. I was actually mistaken about that. What Serene Grace actually does, if, like, say, for example, trying to think of a good moveset for this. Okay, we don't have one here. But there is this move. It has an additional effect to cause something to happen, like, say, for example, burn, paralysis, poison, sleep, freeze, whatever. If the percentage ratio of that move is, let's say, 10, 20, or 30%, Serene Grace will double that. It will basically double the chances of actually getting an additional effect, making 30 become a 60, a 20 become a 40, and a 10 become a 20, and so on. So, yeah, that's what Serene Grace does. But the only trouble is, with Dunsparce, is not a helpful Pokemon by any means of the slightest, because it can't take any hits. It's just like, how the Pokemon pop out of his Pokeball to say hello and then get shown the door and KO'd, never to be seen again. That's pretty much the whole case scenario. And I just realized that the screen is actually not proving to be too good for you to look at. I do apologize about that. Right, let's use a potion to heal up Bellsprout so we can actually train her up a bit. And then we'll put Bellsprout in the lead. Right, so we got another apricorn tree over here. This is a black apricorn. So yeah, honestly I can say whenever you see an apricorn tree, make sure to pick it up if you want good stuff. We have a regular Pokeball over here, so if you're actually running low on them, you can pick one of those up. And we have a trainer here. Nothing much I can honestly say about when it comes to commentary with Pokemon games, because you basically know the outcome. You know there are Pokemon trainers when you see them, and everything really. Right, Caterpie. All they know to do is String Shot and Tackle. So we'll make Bellsprout attack it. Not going to do much damage, unfortunately, but that's all it can honestly do. Wish I had a speed up button, but unfortunately that's not an option. And also, I'm hoping that this doesn't actually become a recurring trend, but there has been many occasions where I've been playing a regular Nintendo DS game on my 3DS, and oftentimes the game has crashed. This mainly has happened with certain games like Mario Party DS, Pokemon Pearl, Pokemon Diamond, sometimes even HeartGold. So I hope it doesn't happen on Pokemon HeartGold, because I would be incredibly upset if that's going to be a recurring trend to this LP if it does indeed happen. Because I know you lot do not want to see a recurring trend of me going back and forth, training against some trainers and everything, and healing up my Pokemon. Because that's not really a fun way to do an LP. And I will admit, because that was actually a recurring trend in Pokemon Colosseum, Pokemon XD, and also Let's Go Eevee. Oh and yeah, we also did put the battle setting to set, so that way it'll make things a little bit more challenging and interesting. I mean, because honestly, if you do it on Switch setting, it's just a simple case scenario of, like, say, your Pokemon's going to bring out this Pokemon next. You want to switch Pokemon, and then you're more likely going to be switching into a Pokemon that's guaranteed to beat your opponent, and it's not going to make him entertaining. It's just going to be like, oh, this is easy. I can knock his Pokemon out in one hit with this Pokemon. And it happens all the time. And there's the first factor of dickish moves in Pokemon. And I apologize about saying the word dickish, but then again, it's how I've described things in this day and age. Do you remember in the last episode, I said in Route 30, only in HeartGold you can find yourself a wild Caterpie, and only in Soul Silver you can find a Weedle? Well, you notice, this guy has both of them. He has both a Caterpie and a Weedle. And I'm like thinking, that is not really fair, because you're allowing AI trainers to use two Pokemon in your team where one can only be gotten in one game and the other can only be gotten in another game. But we are not allowed to catch two Pokemon in the same game unless we actually do catch a Caterpie in HeartGold and a Weedle in Soul Silver and then trade one of them across to the other game. That's the only way. I do find that really, really annoying. And there are many trainers that do often do stuff like that. But the only reason why it does it is to allow you to receive a Pokédex entry of the Pokemon if you know you're not going to be able to encounter it. Right, you're awesome. I like you. I look for Pokemon here every day. When I'm in the tall grass and I find all kinds of berries. If you'd like, I'd share some. Could I get you your phone number? In all honesty, I would say yes to this remark, but he just gives you the basic berries of Oranberry, which heals up 10 HP of your Pokemon's health. Pecha Berry, which cures poison, which, in case you're wondering what poison does, your Pokemon will gradually take poison damage at the end of every turn in a Pokemon battle, but in Pokemon HeartGold, you are also to be taking damage every step you make outside of the battle, which is actually kind of annoying. Burn, for Rawsberry. Burn does the exact same thing as poison, but it doesn't actually damage your Pokemon at the end of the battle. Asperberry, which is curing freeze, and Chesterberry, which actually cures sleep. That's basically all he gives you. So I'm going to say no. You can actually talk to them and receive their number if you change your mind at any point, but I'm going to say no because receiving too many phone calls from one person is just an utter annoyance and a waste of time in this game. And the reason why is because it's like, hey, how you doing? I recently caught this Pokemon the other day. Or, my Pokemon is looking really strong and knocked out this Pokemon in one hit. I'll talk to you later. And it's just a waste of time. There are some trainers that like say, I found this item, come in here and grab it. I want to battle you again, so come here and have a rematch. Those are alright. But there are many occasions where somebody will say, maybe we can talk some more, and then they'll just say what they've done, talk to you later, and then hang up the phone. They never ask you how you're doing because you're basically a silent protagonist. And now, we are in Violet City. I just want to highlight Dunsparce real quick. The other two Pokemon I could technically highlight, but that's only when I've talked about them, which I'm not going to do. So, this guy over here. Shard the berry, yeah, I trade berry for a shard. This is another one of those waste of time moments. If you receive a red shard, blue shard, green shard, or yellow shard, this guy will give you a berry. 3 to be precise, but I wouldn't really waste your time with him because, yes, he does give you uncommon berries, but those uncommon berries will not help you in this game by any means of the slightest. They really won't. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to call it an end to this episode, and I'm going to train up Bellsprout off screen. Next time on Pokemon HeartGold, we will be exploring Violet City and see what that town has to offer. See you guys then.